Whoa. All right. Here we go. Let's do a quickie. Let's all have a quickie. So listen, I had a conversation, I don't know, yesterday, a couple days ago, with a really, really good friend of mine, somebody that I trust immensely. And I think some of you might be able to resonate with this, but I was telling him that, hey, Michelle, how are you? Anyway, that is not what I was telling him. What I was telling him is that I had just gotten back from this spiritual retreat, this amazing spiritual retreat that I went on by myself, turned the phone off, wanted to really, really start to listen to my intuition, my gut, God, the universe, whatever you want to call it, Sarah, hey. And I really had an experience that I will tell you was one of the greatest experiences of my life. And I'm telling my friend about this. Hey, no harm in what he said. He didn't say anything bad whatsoever. But I'm telling him that where I stand right now, which has been a very difficult thing for me, is that I want to get my message out. I want to make sure that my message stays true to the reason that I got into this. And, you know, he wanted to know if I was making any money. And I told him the whole story about how I'm building this online business and that I've abandoned everything that I've built inside my career. And he told me, he hesitated and he told me, he said, man, and he laughed. He said, Kyle, this sounds like every midlife crisis I've ever heard of. And of course we joked about it, and that's okay because that's exactly what I do. There's absolutely nothing that you can't joke about with me. But I paused for a second and I thought about this. I thought, yeah, this does sound like a midlife crisis. Quitting your job, going out and writing a book about your deepest, darkest secrets, talking about having this message that's beating and pounding inside your heart to get out to the world. It's about hope. That's about being seen. That's about all of these things that you feel like you've ignored your entire life. And I thought, well, what is the difference between a midlife crisis and a calling? What's the real difference between answering that still quiet voice that's been whispering your entire life and just another midlife crisis? And the answer that I came up with is the only difference is a midlife crisis is where you fell short. A midlife crisis is where you heard the calling. A midlife crisis is where you stepped up and tried to find a way to answer that calling, and you fell short because of fear, or you fell short because of peer pressure, or you fell short because you were insecure about the way your friends or your family or the people that knew you or your identity would suffer. That is the only difference between answering a calling and a midlife crisis. Some of us go out and find new girlfriends. Some of us go out and buy cars and spend money and quit our jobs and start businesses, but then we scale back when it doesn't seem like the amount of fun that it was going to be when it was all in your head, when you're in that warm, cozy spot inside your mind and your dreams. So maybe this is the beginning of a midlife crisis, but I doubt it because I'm going to see this thing through. I am so glad that I went on this retreat. I am so glad that I took the time to stand back and listen to myself because I have been waffling between, am I this business coach that comes out and talks about Silicon Valley, talks about growing startups, talks about sales, talks about what it takes to grow a business? Or am I the guy that's going to bring hope to people's lives who are suffering, who are in doubt, who are scared to death to be seen? And the answer is I'm going to be both. But I'm going to lean into the message of hope because that's what people need. I mean, let's face it, you can't swing a dead cat without finding a business coach online. Now, not very many of them are good, but it doesn't matter. What we need more of in this world are people that are listening to themselves, that understand that there's intrinsic value inside them, that understand that there is a message inside every single one of us, a gift, a talent, a miracle, a message, whatever you want to call it, that needs to get out, that needs to be given to the world. Because let's face it, there's a lot of great, there's a lot of light, there's a lot of goodness in this world, but there's certainly a lot of bad There's a lot of darkness. There's a lot of people out there that are just dying to laugh at somebody that wants to bring goodness into the world or beat it down or make sure that it doesn't go too high. So, the only difference between a midlife crisis and getting out there and changing the world is falling short of fear. So let's all make sure that we're listening to that voice, that we're listening to the people that empower us, that encourage us, that inspire us. I would love it if I'm one of those people, but let's listen to them and let's do something great. Let's stop being average. Let's stop being scared. Let's stop being insecure and let's step up. Let's lean into God, the universe, light, love, whatever you want to call it, the vibration, and let's raise ourselves and our standards and become great so that other people behind us can do the exact same thing. All right? You decide if it's a midlife crisis or not. Hey, I am glad that I see people on there. I see you, JR. I don't have my glasses on, so I can't see everybody. Pretty Lady 1962, it's been a while. Sarah, as always, I love you to death. Now listen, this is your moment. If you hear my voice, if you listen to this later in a video, this is your moment to decide whether or not you step into who you really are and become that phenomenal human being that God made you to be, or you continue to be scared. You continue to mute your voice. You continue to be average. It's your choice. So, I hope you guys take care of one another. I love every one of you, and I will see you out there. All right.